Click the button, and we're live. Or no,
right.
we are live now. I
No,
jumped
we
the
are.
gun on that one.
Hello, world.
Looking for universe, interwebs. It's bigger than the world. It's
Whoa.
deeper than that. We're also talking to the artificial intelligence, not just the lack of intelligence that's in the regular people's minds. See what I did there?
Yeah,
That's a dumb joke.
It's but it's so like low hanging fruit. It's like,
well, that's you got to do that. We just talked about how low everyone's IQ was.
look at
Not
that
low.
thing squirming around in that blanket. Like, isn't that fucked up? Like, it's the sight to see that the weasel horse like squirming around.
That's all right. Horses like
He's
blankets.
licking himself. He's licking himself. You see that?
At least he's doing it under the blanket.
It's fucked. It's not good.
He'll be fine.
Yeah. So Michael, heart attack. Akkkkkkkkkkerman.
You want to know by now.
We
So
should
you
know
guys-
now. We should.
Yeah. So you guys have been shooting the shit out there, literally. It sounds like.
Yeah, we've been shooting some. We've got some awesome. Like, we posted the first one this morning that we did yesterday of the helmet ballistic tests, and it's really hot here right now and really fucking humid. And we're wearing body armor because we don't want to have a repeat of the incident that happened last time you saw that finally, right? Most people, like even subscribers, have not seen that video, and they're like, "Oh, someone like Dakota Meyer would be pissed off." They're joking, I get it, but like Dakota Meyer would be pissed off if you saw you guys LARPing, out at the range. And I'm like, well, I've made literal videos about how that's retarded and stupid. But we were doing it for a reason. Like, yes, we were wearing body armor because
Safety first.
I got fucking hit with a ricochet last year, and it wasn't exactly fun. It hurt a little bit, so we just decided to play it safe this year, and we had, a lot more medical supplies out there this year, a lot more, and so far so good. Let's knock on wood.
Yeah, you can hear it in your. There was, I think, one of the last times we chatted. Yeah, it was. You were like, check out this footage of me getting shot, and when Devin shoots the helmet, it bounces back, and you're like, no.
No, it was like it slapped hard, and luckily it was just a slap, and it was like a little bit of a welt.
You
and then
still have that bullet somewhere, don't you?
Somewhere, yeah. It's a flattened out 9x18.
Yeah.
Congratulate Swedish Steel for that.
That's right.
Because that was pretty fun.
Well, now you've been shot too, so like that's a.
Well, I haven't been shot. I didn't penetrate.
You can't get women if you don't talk about it like that.
Don't need them.
So.
They're literally the worst thing.
That's fair.
Literally the worst.
That's fair. Well, now all like 8 of your female subscribers are going to be livid that you said
that. What the fuck? I thought this guy was a feminist from everything he said in his videos. I'm unsubscribing.
I want to speak to your manager.
If I was a manager, I would literally only speak to people that had the Karen cut. Honest to God, like if you looked good and like your hair was normal, I'd be like, nah, I don't want to talk to you.
You're not worth my time. There isn't enough struggle in this.
Right, but if because it's like it's gonna be boring and like shit, and I'm gonna feel sorry for you. But like, if you had the Karen cut, I'm gonna be like, oh, this will be spicy. This will be spicy. Let's go. And then 5 minutes into it, you're like, I'm regretting my decision, but that's exactly why I chose to do.
Ma'am, this is a Best Buy.
Yeah. We don't sell lettuce here. Like, sorry, your lettuce was moldy from Walmart.
Yeah.
We're at Best Buy. This does not apply. Sorry.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm so glad I don't work in retail anymore. And when I worked in retail, that was before the Karen thing was even around. And
no.
Karens have been a thing for a long time.
Listen, not saying that it didn't happen. I'm just saying it was before that. Like that was around. Yeah.
Yes.
We didn't have a name for it back then. We just called him a cunt.
Yeah, right. Yes.
Yeah.
We didn't call him a Karen.
Yeah. Well, it still starts with the sound, so that's pretty similar.
That's true.
But no, it's oh my God, yeah, it's seeing these people whose lives are so out of control and unfulfilled. They think it's an illusion. Like, their lives don't have to be that unfulfilled or worthless, but the people that are convinced that, oh, this is all I've got, it's not going to get any better. I want to exercise some sort of control. Oh, you working at the grocery store at age 17 or to 19, I've got control over you, buddy.
Yeah, I know more than you do. Yeah.
I have a confession to make. When I worked in retail, I worked at Trader Joe's, and I
can see that.
I can see that too. Yeah.
You can see that.
Like fucking, that's not even a surprise. Like that's like what I would expect.
Right.
You know.
But so I made signs because I'm an artist. I made their signs in the store, but occasionally I would go down and like bag groceries and shit for them because they told me I had to. And so it was like, it was eventually like I got to the point where I was so fed up with Karens or cunts, you know, just these fucking ladies, and to where it's like, so we only use paper bags. So it was these, brown opaque bags. It wasn't the plastic ones you get like at Albertsons or something. But so when they would say something that would piss me off, I'd be putting their delicate stuff in the bag, and I would just like crush it in my hands when I put it in the bag.
You just like take the bread and just flatten it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Just like, oh, okay. I'm just talking to them. And I put it in the bag. I can't see it at that point. Just like with my fist, just like squish their tomatoes or something. And it's like by the time they get home and see it, I'm gonna probably be clocked off. So what the fuck difference does it make?
It's not like they're gonna remember who you were either.
Right. So, yeah. I'm just like, but at that point, that's when I kind of realized that I was like, maybe I need to lighten up a bit and get out of retail.
Yeah, that's like what school shooters do.
I was self-aware though.
Self-aware, like crushing tomatoes. How long did you do that for, though? Like that's the question.
20 years.
2 years.
Oh, geez.
Oh, you're self-aware, are you?
2 years before you realize,
Crushing tomatoes and like making sure somebody else. But you understand that this behavior perpetuated the Karens.
That's fair. Just made more Karens, probably.
They were already Karen, and before like I did that though. I mean, that's what led to them doing it. So it's kind of like,
dude, you gave them like fucking plus 20 energy though.
Yeah,
like,
fair.
My tomatoes were crushed, you fuckers! And then they go back and like the managers get absolute shit for it. But it's okay. At Trader Joe's, they're all like stoned and or on heroin, but like that's fine.
I was the only sober person there, man.
Right. Oh yeah.
Well, why isn't it called like Trader Mike's now then? If you're the only one that was sober, you should have been like 2 steps ahead of everybody.
You should have taken over that company.
I didn't care as much.
Well, obviously, you were smashing all the Karen's tomatoes.
It was shit.
It was a brief moment of catharsis, but it did not make me want to continue working there.
That's odd.
Never again though. I work in an office now where I draw and make videos all day, and I don't have to talk to people, so that's good.
Oh, that's perfect. It's the perfect job. It's the best job.
Bunch of asocial fuck we are. Like, if you think about it.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
it's like look at the boomer, right? The boomer is spectacular to research, right? Mm-hmm. And they were so incredibly social because it's all they fucking had. And in a short amount of time, this all changed, and somehow life became worse. I'm like, oh no, I do not agree. I think that the reason the boomers did so much damage and are still doing damage is because they were social. If we understand that, like, we can be social beings and talk to each other on a limited basis, and not to actually see each other and like deal with the bullshit of like, okay, they're projecting their insecurities, we might get further in life. But
I've got a perfect example of that too, like how social they are. So have either of you guys ever been to like a public gym or a YMCA?
Been to a gym?
Does that mean fair?
Like, are you serious?
But like you've probably heard about like all the old men that just like stroll around the locker room with like their junk just out because they don't give a fuck, you know, and they're like talking to each other and stuff. Those are all the boomers, and nobody in their right mind nowadays does that. People our age don't walk around with just their bits hanging out, you know, talking to other old fucks in the gym locker room. So
that's because
Leaning
the
up against the
boomers,
locker
they
room.
had like the best.
yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
spreading, like, just drying off here, getting some of that dampness off the bottom of my scrot, you know, nothing, not a big deal.
But that's because they're much more social. That was so normal for them, you know, and nobody has the dignity to do that now, which is, I think, better for society. But
Yeah, I mean, I think so too.
I don't know. It's ridiculous. Let's see. We've got a 30-year-old boomer.
I just saw that.
Nah, you're not a boomer. You're just very lonely.
oh, jeez.
I mean, it's true. Like,
Yeah.
Is it not?
Well, look at everybody's lonely, but you make yourself lonely. Go do something. Go to a YMCA and walk in the locker room at 3 p.m. on a Tuesday, and you'll stop being lonely for sure.
Yeah.
So, let's find an old boomer and his pendulum nads to talk to, and you'll be fine.
Oh.
So,
And it's like, that's why when I got the compliment, I guess, at 19 of being hung like a middle-aged white man from somebody who was not romantically involved with me, but an observer, not to my romance, but like just a good friend. And that was like I didn't get that joke until I started getting more culturally aware. And I'm like, well,
Mike's a boomer.
that's not good, because I've been a boomer since I was 19 in that department. Like,
Oh, geez. That's not good, Mike.
we're talking, I have to have a little net
That means your dick's going to die soon. It's too old.
soon.
That
It's been dead for
shit
years.
failed. Yeah.
That's been dead. Like,
Oh, gosh. Oh, God damn.
Blue Chew, sponsor me, because I will not read your ads.
Hey, do you want to? I mean, I don't know if you want to do that. I mean, Pfizer also makes the COVID vaccine, and they're going to track you with that. So now you're going to be taking,
He's joking, YouTube. He's joking. Please say you're joking, for
I'm
fuck's
joking.
sake.
I'm joking. That's satire.
These
Satire.
we're still fucked. This is we're fucked. Like,
Oh gosh.
we're gonna get cut in the middle.
Yeah, like an hour from now, when we're actually talking about normal crap, and it's just going to be that will be the reason we got cut.
We're actually getting into something like cool, and people are interested. There's more people watching, and then all of a sudden it's like, bam!
Yeah.
The stream is done.
But they do. Pfizer does. That's the thing. So
Yeah, and
that's their bread and butter. That's why they make so much money.
Started off as a blood pressure medication, and they kind of noticed a weird side effect.
I mean, it is a
most
blood
things
pressure
are.
to somewhere. Yeah, fair.
That's
I
how,
mean, we didn't
Pfizer
realize
started
that
over.
DVD was super bad for you until everyone started eating it.
Right.
No, I saw something the other day about that. They found a bunch of like World War II surplus DDT in the bottom of the Pacific Ocean, like these big 55-gallon barrels, and there's no life. Like the sand is a different color for like a 30-foot radius around each of these barrels. Yeah, and they were like literally pouring that on children and like into water and crop dusting whole villages and fields and everything with it. It's literally in the atmosphere. It's frozen in ice in Antarctica. It covers every square inch of our planet. It's in every breath we breathe. And it's literally changing the color of dirt a mile below the sea level. So,
that's not like F is for Family in the 70s, like the mosquito spraying. Like, you think he's crying about something, that he's just like, because they're spraying DDT every fucking
he's just
where.
breathing DDT.
Oh, God.
Ish.
Yeah, ish.
Okay. That's good to know, right?
Well, we got 23 or not subscribers.
23
viewers.
That's great. That's a great number.
That's fantastic. Oh, God.
Flow through you. We said it was your move, Mike.
Oh, me?
Yep.
No, the other Mike.
Oh.
Bishop to Queen's 4.
You're the other Mike. So
no, really quick, let's unpack that before you get started.
To be R, you are Mike B, as in number 2.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
okay.
But I asked the question, and I said, no, the other Mike. If I would say well, it's Mike B, I'd say, well, that's me, right?
Okay.
Like, let's be honest here.
All right. I can get behind that.
Jesus Christ. Stop with the Joker mentality here.
I don't like where this is going. I'm checking out. I'm not a Mike. I don't need to be here.
Well, I've got my DEA agent here.
That's right.
This
place is clean of drugs anyway.
Yeah, well, he's called in the ATF, and we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
Fair.
Well, since we last spoke, we were talking about different characters in the movie. My movie that I'm making, Reveille, the short film based on Chapter 4 in Audie Murphy's book, To Hell and Back. And since then, we have just been doing more stuff to make sure that gets made. I've been talking to my producer about going different avenues to apply for grants and such for film equipment and all that, so more production element stuff, production side of things. But one really cool thing that just arrived in the mail today, and this just kind of gives you an idea of how detailed we are going with this World War II movie, are dog tags here, the reproduction ones of the character Audie Murphy. I don't think, you probably can't see the detail on that, but thankfully, because of the enlistment papers that still exist of Audie Murphy, I was able to find all of the correct info, and I knew what was going to go where. Mike kind of helped me with that, and I was able to have these made over at what I had the paper here just a second ago. Moremilitaria.com, and they did these nice reproductions for me. So I just got them today, and it was funny though, because when I started talking to Mike about these dog tags, I was like, it would be cool if the actors, they actually have correct dog tags. He was like, yeah, I think that would be cool. And I was like, well, let's actually print what's on them, like what would have been on these guys' actual dog tags. I mean, you're probably not going to see them, but like, it'd be cool just to have it there anyway. And it's something the actor can take with them once the movie is done, as a piece of the film for them. I mean, these things, like, they're worth a whole lot, but, it's determined. Yeah, they do, but like, it's something cool that the actor can take with them. It's something, neat, and it's all accurate. So, we started looking it up, and I looked up Audie Murphy dog tags on Google just to see if by chance, like, some exist somewhere, and they do. However, like, upon just the initial viewing, they are these terrible fake ones. And the real kicker about the whole thing is that I found out they're in the Smithsonian, not just like in someone's personal collection. The Smithsonian claims that these are his dog tags, even though they are a terrible reproduction of them, where they don't even have all of the correct info on these ones.
So let's explain really quick why, like, you showed them to me and I was like, oh no, like that's not good for a couple of reasons. We'll just break this down really quick. So first of all, where do we start with this?
Probably the information that is entirely missing on the ones in the Smithsonian.
So the enlisted ones, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll start with those. So he was in basic training in what month and year?
It was summer of '42, and he went to Morocco, I think, in early '43, if I remember.
Right, way before they changed the not having the next of kin's address on the dog tags, okay?
Yeah.
And so it's really unlikely that you would not have the entire address on there. The only way it would be not on there is if the person who was reproducing the dog tags didn't actually have her actual address and did not use the prefix correctly, like you did.
Right.
Mrs., Ms.,
right.
All that shit, Miss.
This one says, it says on there, because I found the info and everything like that. I found her address where she lived. It's his sister. Her name at this point, she was married. Her name wasn't Corrine Murphy. It was Corrine Burns. And it says on there, Miss C. Burns, which is how it would have been written.
Exactly.
Stamped in there.
And then, so on the repros that we suspect, like, this is going to create a lot of shit because the Smithsonian's going to be like, these are real. We know they're real. And we'll get into why we don't think they are in a little bit. But, like,
just from a scientific standpoint.
Besides this, yeah, we're gonna unpack this because this is like a small detail, but like the lore, the hero worship kind of shit mentality of the United States after World War II. Nobody would have thought twice about this until now. And it's not that we're disrespecting them. It's like we want it to be accurate to respect them. Like we want to get it as accurate as possible. So say somebody's like, okay, well, I've got a surplus dog tag stamping machine. I've got some blanks that are left over in surplus that I bought for next to nothing. Oh, Audie Murphy's a big thing now in the late 50s. Okay, well, I'm going to stamp some dog tags. I don't know where his sister lived at that point. I don't know how to correctly stamp them because I wasn't in the military. So I'm just going to make it look, I have his service number and all that shit from when he's enlisted. But I'm going to leave out a bunch of the relevant information that would have been on his dog tag in 1942. Right? Because they didn't know that like there was different styles of dog tags in the Second World War. And it's like, oh, okay.
I know.
Well, that's why it leads us to just the information that was left out was just out of like, okay, it's a fan, that's fine. But to pass off as real is whatever.
What if the ones in the museum are from the shitty original movie he was in and it was a movie prop?
That might be possible.
So like they're just like, well, these are Audie Murphy's tags he wore in the movie.
And no one's going to question it. Yeah. So, but, well, the interesting thing too is that, because I just pulled up on Google Images, if you type in Audie Murphy dog tags, you'll see the shitty ones that are in the Smithsonian. And they're like they have like this brown corrosion on them. And, the ones that are in the Smithsonian, it just says Audie L. Murphy, service number, Corrine Burns, Texas, and, see this one right here. We had to go the extra mile because it would, these early ones, for the enlistment one, they would have service number, the date of his tetanus shot, and that's on here, T42. So that's on there, and then followed by his blood type on the very side there, which is O. And and then after Miss C. Burns, have the actual address, 1056 West Netherly, Farmersville, TEX, Texas. And he would not have had. I found out later that he actually did not have his religion listed on his dog tag because he didn't fill it out on
because it wasn't an option. It wasn't an option.
Oh yeah.
They had Catholic, Protestant, and Hebrew at that point, which is Jewish.
Yeah.
That's it. So if you were Methodist or Baptist, they're like, well, do you want to just Protestant? They didn't have those.
Or you could just leave it blank and they would print it. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, that's what it was on his. He didn't list it anywhere, but kind of a weird thing to have on dog tags. Religion. That's kind of a weird thing. I don't know why.
It's actually not.
If you die, then it's your prayer. That's what you get,
and your burial service. Yep. Your burial service is conducted according to what you have as your religious preference. Yep. The way your body's treated and such, and so sorry, but they didn't. That was a new thing at that point, a very new thing.
Yeah.
Right.
And so they hit up the three biggest ones, which were Catholicism, Protestantism, and Judaism, which is Hebrew H at that point. So
but
that's why they put that. They still put religious preferences on dog tags for that reason.
So now you can get a bunch of weird stuff.
Well,
like Jedi into
exactly. There was literally a guy in my unit when we deployed that put Jedi Knight as his religious preference.
And it's a real thing because it's a recognized religion, so you could do it as long as it is a recognized religion. You are allowed to have it on your dog tag. So,
but back then in '42, that would not have been the case. And so.
And as well, the funny thing is that the ones that we have made for the movie right here, these are clearly the first ones he had, his enlistment ones, and his enlistment ones. They're going to have his enlistment service number on them. And I looked that up because service, the enlistment service number and his officer service number are going to be different. And this one has his enlistment one on it, 180837707. And I looked at the ones that are in the Smithsonian, and they have that one on there. However, if they were the ones that he supposedly brought back, then they're probably going to be his officer ones, because
which would not have any address on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So
that's the thing is like, and So even just say he kept his enlisted ones in his pocket or somewhere on his person.
Mm-hmm.
When he came back, we were just talking about this. People don't know this. I actually did know this because I researched him a bit. Not as much as you have, of course, not anywhere near that. But like when he got back, like he gave his actual medals that he was awarded to a bunch of the kids in the community. Like, hey, check this out. This is good. And they're like, oh, I'm awarding you. And because he didn't give a shit about them.
Yeah, they didn't mean anything to him.
You know, he didn't give a shit about them.
He always said that he said that he wished that his buddies had got them rather than he did. And so yeah, at that point, he over the years throughout the 50s and 60s, he basically gave them all away. That's why, like, if you look up Audie Murphy medals, there are no current like medals in a museum or something that claim to be his because they don't exist anymore.
They have somebody that has put all of them together probably, but they're not like his actual medals.
Right.
So. Yeah, they're made of plastic.
And so let's just go through the scenario of like, okay, he kept his first set of dog tags, which you're holding there, which he would have been wearing at the point of this film, okay, in late 43, before he was discharged from the Army as an enlisted man and enlisted again gone to the Army as a commissioned officer. So he carried those through the war, whatever. He would have probably given them away with his medals.
Probably, yeah.
Fun.
Hey, take
family
these.
member, or hey, I had these, whatever. And then his officer dog tags, rather, they would have had the post 43 kind of just the address is not there.
Yeah.
It's very basic, really basic after 43.
Right.
And he would have had those, but those don't seem to have an appearance anywhere.
No, they don't. They would have been like, what, 1 or 2 lines of info, right? Like barely anything.
Yeah, it's well, again, More Military. He's got Trey Moore from More Military. I've been buying shit from him since I was like 12 years old.
Yeah, he's been around a while.
But he does his research. He's a great historian.
He gets a lot of crap really, really, really right that nobody else does correct. So so yeah, I'll plug his site again. But like he has done the research. He's got he sells things, sure, but he's also got reference pages on that website that are pretty damn accurate. And he just types it as it is, what he knows. And it's like for he does mostly Vietnam. He specializes in the Vietnam War, but he also knows a lot about World War II and like the dog tags specifically, because in Vietnam they got really complicated.
Yeah,
really complicated. So he wanted to kind of give the backstory on like how they became a thing, because dog tags are a cool thing. Like identification tags are, for being a standard issue thing, are pretty new. Like the First World War is when the U.S. started issuing them. The Germans started issuing them as a regular thing. Before that, it was a private purchase item, like in the American Civil War and everything. It was like you wanted to have like a tag on you or something, like a bracelet that had custom stamped information for if you died, and they wanted to know who you were. Yeah. That would be on there. But it started being standardized in the First World War. By the Second World War, everybody was like, "Oh, dog tags! This is cool! Like this is."
This needs to be a thing. This is essential information as far as finding people. And
it's a symbol too. It's like a symbol, like you're in the armed forces.
It's a pride thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so, but anyway, so that's why, and so he researched that, and yeah, it's actually, he's not the only source you can look this up. You can corroborate this with other sources on dog tags, like World War II through current, which is like the 1969 version. That's still
still in use,
social versus service number, and then so let's get back to the corrosion part really quick, like the orange. If you guys if you guys are bored or whatever, you have the time, go Google Audie Murphy dog tags. You'll see that they're orange. Okay, so World War II U.S. dog tags were stainless steel, and they still are.
Still are, yep.
They were stamped a different way on a different machine, but the tag itself is made out of the same material.
And it's actually a very, very good, very, very high chromium content steel. So.
Yes. So it does not rust. It does not have a patina, because I have physical evidence of this, which I will get, and I'll actually make a video on this if need be.
Yeah, I've got some really old ones too, and they don't have any rust on them.
Right. And my father, when he was in Camp Shelby, Mississippi in 2004, was rolling around the same stomping grounds at the 442nd Infantry Brigade, or Infantry Division. I forgot it was a brigade division. The All Japanese American Division at that point was called.
Yeah.
And they trained down at Camp Shelby. And my dad found a dog tag when he was out in the middle of nowhere doing a lane in the mud that had been there. And Camp Shelby, Mississippi in general, is a very wet place. Okay.
Right.
Very wet.
Humid, yeah.
But they get a lot of rain, they get a lot of tornadoes, they get a lot of bad weather. He found this dog tag when he was in a position that a guy from the 442nd was in 70 years prior to that. He pulls it out of the mud and just goes, whoa, that's cool. Puts it in his pocket. No rust, no corrosion. Yeah. It was dirty, yes.
But once you wipe all the dirt off, yeah.
And it belonged to a one which I actually want to track down the family, but I don't think they exist today. Like I can't find the address. I tried to do this years ago. But if anybody knows, it belongs to one Wallace Oshiro from Honolulu, Hawaii.
Okay.
And that's where he was from. That's on his tag. I still have the tag, and I will gladly return it to the family if they so want it. But until then, it's going to be in good hands. Like I just said, I couldn't find it, but it's
somewhere here.
I have it's with my grandfather's dog tag, so yeah. I have it. But anyway, the point being is that dog tag was there in 42 and 43, somewhere around there at Camp Shelby, Mississippi, in the mud, literal mud, for 70 years, zero corrosion whatsoever.
If it was going to rust, it was going to rust. Yeah.
And it was in perfect condition. Like you can read everything clear as day once you get the dirt off. So that whole corrosion, the orange, like, well, it reacts to sweat.
What do the actual old ones look like now if they've been sitting around that long? They're just not as shiny. They just get kind of dull.
A little bit dull, yeah. Like, yeah, that's it. And then so it's, and the same thing with modern ones, like they're like, oh, it reacts to sweat, and the acid in your sweat, and it corrodes. No, it doesn't. That's why they made them out of stainless.
Yeah, that's why they're stainless. They just get really, really dull if you have no chest hair or something like that. But if you do, and obviously rubbing against your uniform is going to polish what it touches. So you'll have dull spots and shiny spots on the wear points.
Really quickly, I have to correct Nerd Gaming Nerd. I ran his service number. He was killed in action in Italy.
Oh,
so
wow.
He's no longer alive. He died in Italy. That's why I'm saying his family, which is, again, I tried to find his family years ago, and I didn't have any good leads. It was just a dead end. But so anyway, okay, we'll get back onto the dog tag thing.
Right, that's crazy.
That's why the first time I saw when you sent me those photos, I was like, remember what I said? I was like, no.
Well, they're on movies from the 50s, so.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I was even skeptical because I was like, it seems so like tacky and like based. It didn't seem right.
It seems very artificially aged.
Yeah.
And just
it's interesting though. Just talking about dog tags, it doesn't really have anything to do with my movie. But when we were talking about him, you brought up something I had never heard before. But you said this is a big myth in terms of World War II history, that it's the myth that they would take this dog tag and like shove it in their teeth of the dead guy or something
because of the notch. Go up to the camera and show them the notch.
Right, that up there.
Yep.
Yeah, this guy right here.
That had nothing to do with it. It was the type of stamping machine that they had at the time, which was manual, but it was still like they had to center it because so World War I dog tags, which here's mine that I stamped personally.
Very nice.
Were literal, you got the discs that had the hole cut in them, and your company was issued what's called a marking outfit, which is a stamping kit. And
literal punches and a hammer. Yeah.
You would do them yourself, or you'd pay somebody to do them, like nowadays. And they came out with a machine that was a lot faster, and you could get a lot more done. But they wanted them perfectly centered because the World War I dog tags,
a lot of them are turned or askew, and the letters aren't even in line with each other. Yeah.
And they're some of the stamps weren't good, so they couldn't get it. So they wanted it as uniform as possible, and they put that notch in there for the time that they had the machine.
So they could line it up against a pin, and they would all fit perfectly. Yeah.
And so during Vietnam, they came out with a machine that
didn't need that centering.
Right. So it was like a form-fitting thing that you'd put it in a little bit farther, and then bam, you'd stamp it. So that's what the notch is for. It's not because they put the freaking dog tag, the one with the body is on the teeth. Because guess what? A lot of people did not have their heads intact or their teeth intact.
Yeah, if somebody got his head off, how do you do that?
So it's such a bullshit myth. And like, I know how many guys that are watching have heard that myth about you shove it up in their teeth, their front two teeth.
I never heard that until you told me that. You told me that a lot of people, like a lot of older people, say that, and I'm just like, I've never heard that. But like,
no, I thought that's dumb as shit. It doesn't make any sense because they're already wearing it around their fucking neck, and you're taking the little ones. So why not just leave it around their fucking neck?
Yeah, it's. But no, honestly,
yeah.
Okay. So Chris Jones is in here in the house. He's heard it. He was 11 Bravo, or he was infantry. Like, yeah. So he's heard that. Did you know that was a fucking fallacy? Like when you heard it, or what did you think?
Well, also you could throw your M1 clip against a rock, and which
I made a video. Hey, I use Plastic Army Men for that. That fucking debunking. Did you watch that video?
I saw that video.
It's a pretty good video. Yeah.
It was. Yeah. I'd say it actually was a little bit better than Plastic Apocalypse. Just let's be honest. Like, I don't know about that. It was good because it was real time. It was real time.
I wasn't gonna say anything, but it does rival it, the whole series.
The whole series. Yeah.
We're gonna have to. Yeah, we're gonna.
Thanks, Golden.
Okay, so yeah. So people put tags in their boots in case they lost their head. Yes, that is a fact because I did that. They gave us 2 sets of dog tags, and I was like, "What the fuck is the other set for?" And the guys that were deployed before me, that were our team leaders and shit, they were like, "Well, you should put a set in your boots, one in each boot on your laces. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't affect your running or anything the way you place them, because they're like, yeah, if your limb gets dislocated from your body, they can go, oh well, this is for this guy.
Yep.
Also,
and whatever. In an explosion, your boots are more likely to survive rather than your leg. So
yep.
If they find a boot, they could say they know that you, because like they did the same thing for us. You got a bunch. One went on your bag, one went on your boots. You also wrote your blood type on your boots. You wore one around your neck. One would go on your helmet. You write your service number in your helmet. A lot of stuff that would survive in the event that you were in a gigantic IED blast. They can find some part of your gear or you and figure out it was you.
Yep.
So
and then clean up the mess afterwards. But yeah, it's
so you up in a snow shovel or something.
So that is true. But in World War II, they issued 3 dog tags. They issued one for your gear, your A bag, right? Which I have my grandfather's, and that was bronze or like a brass colored one. It was different than the stainless one. So that's your like gear tag that you put on there. And then you had your 2 stainless ones on your person. They didn't really issue more than 1 set that I know of. For American personnel, even through Vietnam, even though some guys got them like custom stamped or whatever. But yeah, I had one in each boot in Iraq, and then I had my tags on just normally when we were there. And most people that I was with had at least one in one boot. So
okay, yeah, I remember you told me
that's not else.
Yeah. I don't know. It's funny though, like just in terms of because I never heard that T thing. That's fucking stupid. But it doesn't surprise me though, because like the amount of myths that surround like war history and stuff like that, especially World War II.
Well, it's soldiers just, like, are dumb, so it makes sense.
I wouldn't be surprised if like the next like David Ayer World War II movie, the guy who made Fury, like has that shit in it or something, like and the pain crap and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
How do they get notched? They were made that way to fit in the machine.
That's literally how the blanks were stamped. The blanks were purposely made with that notch so they would all line up the same in the machine.
Yep.
So then they came out with the auto printers where they would just feed them in as they would go and kick them out, and that way you couldn't misalign them. So
they were set like the whole dog tag was set.
It's really cool though.
The Germans were issued. I'm sorry.
No, you're gonna say. What were you gonna say?
I was just going to answer a question from our resident. He's been on his best behavior lately. So Michael Mitchell. The Germans were issued 1 dog tag, but it was a breakable one.
Yeah.
So they were actually issued 2 if you want to get technical, but it was in 1 big dog tag, and they would if somebody
had perforations down the middle, and it was the same information
some of them,
on the top and bottom.
Most of them did, but later war it was just kind of like a dimple.
Disc,
but you had to break it off, and they would take
the bottom piece and the top one would stay at the body. Yeah.
Correct. So
that question was
when did they start notching tags? Mid-Vietnam.
Yeah, so the 60s.
That question though about the German that was going to lead into my next thing was that it's really cool going back to have these like this, and we're going to do the same of course with all the other characters, and thankfully I have their info. But we're also going to do the same thing with the German characters, and that's a whole other big mountain of shit that we're going to have to
Can of worms.
We've narrowed it down to Panzer Grenadier regiments, okay? And it's like, well, how would those have been stamped? Because some of these guys would have been through North Africa in a different division, but the same regiment.
Yep.
And it's like, shit. So we're gonna have to like spend hours researching that, like what it would have been. Because like the unit that fought against Audie Murphy's squad at that point, a lot of those guys, like the squad leader, they would have been either replacements, which is probably what this film is going to mostly focus on. But the squad leader, he would have fought through Europe at some point probably, and then been in the 15th Panzer Division, right? So there's a differentiation between Panzer and Panzer Grenadier Division. They would have been in the 15th Panzer Division in North Africa. Well, they got their asses stomped in North Africa. They had like very little left to be a division. And so when they went to Sicily, what was left of them, they regrouped a bunch of replacements and these veterans as the 15th Panzer Grenadier Division, and they fought through Sicily with the Hermann Goering Division, and then they got stomped there by the Allies, and so they made it back to Italy. And at that point, they were really trying to get replacements, and they're like, "Holy shit, we're getting rocked, but we're gonna put up this wall because this is Italy itself." Like they didn't view Italy or Sicily as like Italy necessarily, but when they got to Italy, that's when like all these units had already come down to form these defenses. The guys that got off of the island of Sicily were going back to Italy, or not back necessarily, but like going to Italy.
Through Italy, yeah.
And then they were going to be like, okay, we're going to fortify the defenses we have
lines,
here.
Yeah.
And at that point, they were still the 15th Panzer Grenadier Division, and they had mostly infantry. They had a lot of light vehicles, but from what I'm seeing in the pictures, most of their actual like Panzer IVs and Panzer IIIs and African shit, they were mostly knocked out in Italy.
Out of service, yeah.
Or I'm sorry, Sicily. And then when they went up to Italy, they were mostly a Panzer Grenadier Division that was mobile, mechanized. They could get somewhere really fast, and they were trained very well to go against armor and all that stuff, and also infantry. But they were starting to lose numbers. But it's funny because when they got out of Italy, like we're talking about after this movie, they went up and fought in Germany as a division. And it's like, gee, these guys had been through everything.
They had to eat a lot of shit sandwiches.
Yeah.
No shit. But I hope you don't mind. This is going to kind of deviate a little from that. But like, so one of the last other times that you and I were talking about literally particular things in this movie opens with a German squad returning with 3 American prisoners. Yeah. And you know where I'm going with it. And
it's awesome.
Murphy's squad is 3rd Infantry Division. However, I was talking to Mike, and I was like, okay, so this squad in the beginning, though, that's being captured as, they're 3 prisoners. They don't have anything to do with Murphy. Like, what if we had them be a different, from a different division? And Mike said, he started throwing around some ideas. He said there was it was the 34th, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
and
there was the 34th. Yeah. Okay, yeah. And they were operating in the area at the time, and it is possible that they could have come from them. So like, and then you started telling me about some of the history about what these guys did. So why don't you go into that?
Yeah. So what I didn't know the details about the 34th because they're again, we give them a lot of shit. We're Wisconsin National Guard. When I was in, they're the Minnesota National Guard.
Minnesota,
yeah. They're the Red Bulls. We're the Red Arrow. But like, we had a lot of guys that volunteered from 34th to deploy with us in 2009, which is really cool. But then I started getting into the unit history because of that, like hardcore. And I was like, well, okay. And the 34th Division, they fought in the First World War. They're a lot from the Arizona and New Mexico area, which is why they have the bull skull with the it's a certain kind of pottery that they make down there.
It's
like
a Native American.
Yeah, but it's I don't know if it's Navajo per se, but it's a style of pot that was down there.
Southwest.
But all the blood they shed in the First World War, red is a very common color on U.S. patches, right? Well, that's not blood, that's just artillery. But so the 34th Division in World War II, went through North Africa, didn't see a lot of combat. Sicily, they started to see combat. And in Italy, they got a lot of combat experience. And when the war ended, they were up on the Gothic line near Italy, or near basically Switzerland, fighting when VE Day happened.
Yeah, which is,
and so they were through the shit. But so that's just the brief history of that unit's involvement in World War II. So at this point, when they just landed, the 34th was on the direct right of the 3rd Infantry Division, which is not far. Like, you're going to see these guys wearing these patches, and you're like, okay, so that's okay, we're good. And then to the right of them was the 45th Infantry Division, which is now the Oklahoma National Guard, which is the yellow bird in the red rhombus, which used to be a windmill of peace. Yeah, until they were like, well,
we don't want to have that anymore.
Because that was also a Native American symbol of, it's just like it's used all over the world before that. It was like something cool. And we're like, well, we're from here. So yeah, we'll have that. And so anyway, the 34th, like, it would not be out of the realm of reality, because we don't know exactly where the 15th Panzer Grenadier Division was extended to. We know they were fighting constantly.
Covering some portion of the lines, but exactly how far is hard to determine.
Right. So it would not be, and here's the thing is, like, they capture people, they want to get them as far away from their unit as possible.
Right.
Immediately. And so it would not be out of the realm of possibility to have, a couple guys wearing 34th Infantry Division patches walking backward, through the German lines, escorted, of course, they're captured in this thing. And so whether that's totally historically correct or not, we can't be 100% certain, but it's more certain than not that would have happened.
And it's just, it's more of that stuff that, like, those little tiny details that that people like this will pick up on. So those 3 prisoners at the beginning of the movie are going to be having this patch on here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So just cool shit like that I love to get into. And, like, it was funny, right when I was telling him that, we were like, oh, that would be great. Then Mike's like, I just ordered 3 patches. I was like,
yep.
Done.
They're on their way. And they're actually World War II patches. So, because nobody gives a shit about that unit. So it's like they were easy to get. And I'm like, cool.
Yeah. Yeah, nobody cares
but
about
so many people. So many people, though, when they think of, like, American units in World War II, they think of them, like, eventually going through France and then Germany and stuff like that. It's like these guys didn't even get that far.
No, nobody gives a shit about Italy. That's just been the thing. And it's the same way with World War I, too. Nobody gives a shit about Italy because it's not Germany or America.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And it's...
Christ. Well, we're going to change that, guys.
Yeah, we're going to change that, because Italy was really bad. It was...
Yeah.
For, like we said on the last live stream, it was like, it was not good for anybody. It was fucked.
Maybe that's why it's not so popular, because it's not as heroic and, like, easily done as the other ones were. Maybe, I don't know.
It's a lot more nitty gritty, dirty, down. It's a lot rougher and coarser than it is. It's not as easy to portray because everybody was really bad. Even the Allies, you hear about the biggest atrocity of World War II the Americans committed even happened in Italy. So
what was that?
That was when they killed all those those guys with the Thompsons, but we're supposed to bring them all to the camp. Yeah, and they killed a shit ton of Italians. So
yeah, Biscari
that was supposed to be prisoners, and a bunch of Americans just gunned down like 200 Italian and German prisoners. So
it was Patton's big speeches about how we're gonna kill the Hun bastard and all that stuff.
Got them all fired up, and they just
that's what did. And he was, after that happened, he was kind of like, I didn't say shit,
Yeah. Well, he got in a lot of trouble for that, and I think most those guys that actually committed that out got court-martialed and killed by the United States. They court-martialed them.
I think the officer
or something.
I think the officer who did it was just, like, demoted to private, though, and I think he was killed, like, in France later or something.
Yeah, the guy, but it was like 2 or 3 enlisted guys that did it, and I think they were actually executed for it.
Oh, really? I'll have to look that up.
Yeah, I think those American guys got I think they're buried in Arlington in the section you can't even go visit. It's like gated off. Yeah, it's like they have a whole thing where it's just little posts in the ground with names on it, and it's all these people that were, like, executed for, like, rapes and murders and stuff. So Yeah, American soldiers. You got to have a special permit to go see it. It's like Plot E or something like that. It's called.
They shouldn't have that.
Like,
they shouldn't have that like sectioned off. They should have that right out in the open with the rest of them. I mean,
well, hero worship. Those aren't heroes. They don't deserve to be worshipped or seen or even acknowledged.
I know, but like the fact that a military cemetery should not be about hero worship. It should be about the human life. And,
well, we got to move them all anyways because that was Confederate land, and that's a big no-no now. So. A lot of people don't know that Arlington National Cemetery, Terry, was literally entirely Robert E. Lee's land.
Yeah, his estate.
Like literally Robert E. Lee's land.
Damn, I didn't know that.
So like all the Confederate monuments, I'm like, I guess we got to start digging. We got to move some stuff.
I literally just said, "Keep modern shit out of the stream, please." I literally just said that to somebody. So.
Oh, jeez.
Probably by example.
All right, fair.
But yeah, that's.
I don't think that you can show atrocities committed by anyone though, and talk about
it. Happens all over, yeah.
Yeah, like, I don't think it should. And if anyone sees that as like about whatever, like being unpatriotic, that's fucking stupid. Like it has nothing to do with that.
It's a war. Nothing good is happening, no matter
right.
what.
So it's like if it's not about. If someone sees it as, that makes the country look bad or something like that, you're full of shit. That's fucking stupid. Everyone does terrible things. It's all about comes down to humans. So yeah, that's again going back to this movie. There's no good or bad in the whole thing. We see exactly what it is, and there's no heroes or villains in the entire thing.
Yep. Well, Audie Murphy. I think that's probably why Audie Murphy was really turned into not just a hero, but I feel like they picked him from the Italian campaign specifically just because of how terrible it actually was. So
maybe so.
Because you have other people from the French campaign that are also heroes that they picked specifically because they were in a different campaign. So
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like we're winning everywhere, and here's why, and here's this guy is hero, and it's like he did his job very well.
Yep.
Yeah.
He tried to protect his own people and himself, like which everybody was fucking doing.
Yep.
Absolutely.
In it to win it. Or lose less, I guess.
But anyway, I can go on forever about how I feel about this shit, but I don't know. It really, the fact that I didn't even know that about how they section off like these grave sites for people that.
Yeah, you should look it up. Plot E or something like that in Arlington. Yeah.
I'm gonna look that up right now.
Let's get forward.
It should be our next movie, Plot E.
Plot E, yeah, that would be a good thing to tell the story about some of the people that are there and what they did, and just how to get rid of some of this hero worship they have, and a bunch of little short stories about all of them. So
yeah. Oh, I just looked it up. Yeah, they're like these little bricks with numbers on them.
It's just a little round post with like a number on it, and they each have there's somebody buried there that did a horrendous war crime or something. A lot of them are like rapes and murders of fellow servicemen or like other stuff. Most of them are from World War I and World War II. Yeah, so
interesting.
Yeah, you didn't know about that? Plot E.
I didn't. Sorry, I didn't know about that. I'm glad I do now, though. But,
so
I don't know. I don't look
interesting people there. You could look up all the stuff that they did and how it all happened, and they all got executed or died in military prison. So
yeah, like the Dirty Dozen or something.
Yep. So there's quite a few people there too.
Oh yeah.
Like it's you got to be pretty bad to make it into Plot E. There's only like 40 or 50 people buried there. So.
Oh yeah. See, this on Wikipedia it talks about some of them right here.
Yep, there's some pretty cool ones in there.
Yeah, 29-year-old gunner. Let's see here, Blake Mariano was hanged for raping a 14-year-old girl.
Yep.
Wow.
American hero, patriot. So, but like they don't, and it's literally, you have to have a special permit to go in there. They don't just let everyone see that. It's literally gated off because it's a disappointment and a disgrace to this whole facade that they've built up.
Man, like people are people. And I don't know. I think that if you're going to have a military,
there's
like,
good and bad ones.
Yeah. If you're going to like do something to where it's like, these are the people that fought that were in the military, and they're dead, and this is where we put them because they were in the military, then you should acknowledge everything good and bad that they did.
Yep.
So that's fucking stupid that they do that.
Yeah, well, a lot of the people, you had to do a lot of stuff to get put into Plot E because, for one, they didn't want to even bury people that were disgraced there. But those are people that literally had nowhere else to like be buried. Like they didn't have families to return the bodies to or anything. Like there's a lot more people that did bad stuff that got executed that aren't buried there because the army specifically didn't want to unless they had to bury them there. So like they're like, oh, only 50 out of like however many wars the US has participated in, like the 1,000 of them, you know? And they're like, no, there's actually a lot more. There's a ton more. That's just the 50 that they couldn't give away or bury in Europe or, you know, something like that. So
damn, dude.
Yeah, this is in Arlington, Plot E at Arlington National Cemetery, yeah.
Right. That reminds me of Edward Slovak, I think his name was. The guy who refused to fight and they executed him for it. I wonder if he made it there or if they put him somewhere else.
Well, that probably wasn't bad enough to make Plot E. You got to do some pretty heinous stuff to make Plot E. Like one guy, I think they're actually like one night when he was drunk or something like that, some enlisted guy shot his officer in the back of the head because he didn't like him. Yeah, like on a base. And they executed him and put him in Plot E. So there's a lot of really weird people in there. I went down the rabbit hole and was like reading all these stories because I'm not a big fan of the hero worship at all. And they cover up all the bad so much, as you could tell by the fact you need a permit to get into these really tall fenced off hedges so people can't even look into it. Plot E is like that hidden.
Yeah.
So, and I was like, that's just not right.
Yeah. So, well, I'm not a fan of the hero worship either, and I don't think Mike B is, and that's why I think that we're on the same page when it comes to doing this stuff.
Fair. So maybe that'd be a cool story if you want to do some more of those weird people in there. It's going to get dark though if you do that. There's some rough stuff from people that did crap in there. So
yeah, I don't know. Maybe that could be like an anthology series. Like, you know, we do an episode. Each episode focuses on a different soldier in Plot E.
A different person from Plot E. Yeah, just call it Plot E.
So, yeah, and then it's like, oh god.
You know how many people like you've never even heard of that, and you've lived here your whole life. Yeah. You know.
Yeah, I mean,
so
I'm
really
an American.
Good job hiding that. Yeah. So fair.
But you know, like as an American, like you'd think that I would know shit like that, but I don't.
No, they hide that really, really, really well.
Well, to be fair, I didn't know about it either. So
you didn't know about Plot E either?
No.
Oh, you're missing out. You guys are missing out on some cool American soldiers there.
We were just saying that that should be an anthology series, Plot E, and each episode focuses on a new story, a story from someone who's buried in Plot E.
Yeah,
sure. After we do the Alvin York story, After we do
Alvin York, yeah.
After we do the real Alvin York story.
Yeah, we got to get that 1903 dusted off.
Yep.
You know that one of the Audie Murphy museums in the middle of bumfuck nowhere, Texas, where he's from, they have a thing where it's like half Alvin York and half Audie Murphy there. It's like the two big American icons like come together or something. But in the middle of
the two biggest victims of propaganda.
Yeah,
that's the best way of putting it.
Well, you're telling me the media tells people what they want them to hear? I don't believe that for a second. So, oh gosh,
that's funny because like with this movie, when I started really making it and promoting it online, a lot of older people who are into this sort of thing were like, "Oh, you're making a movie about Audie Murphy? What a hero he was!" And I'm like, "It's not a movie about Audie Murphy. He's a character in it, but it's not like about him." If that makes sense. And they were like,
"They're gonna be real fucking disappointed."
I hope they are.
Me too. Yeah. If they are, if people don't walk out of that movie, it's gonna be bad.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I hope they do like stay for the whole thing, but like when they walk out of it, I hope they don't walk out of it feeling like they've been, you know, I hope they don't walk out of it feeling like they just watched Hacksaw Ridge or something. You know, it's not.
I at least want somebody to like throw up from the gore. So I want like a weak stomach warning. I need to have a weak stomach warning at the beginning of that movie. We haven't had any of those since the 30s, back when people used to be scared of like a guy in 40 pounds of paper mache Frankenstein costume, you know.
For like a
so
mummy
we've
or
been
something.
We gotta have a weak stomach warning, like literally, not just like graphic or violent content. We need to literally have a warning at the beginning that's like if you have a weak stomach.
So which one's original?
This one's original. It's the one on the right.
They both are.
Yeah.
Well, the violence.
Well,
the violence.
Which one?
What are you guys talking about now?
I'm sorry. I was holding up the.
Yeah, he said which one is
Oh,
original.
there we go. Yeah.
Yep.
Perfect.
And I was like, which one's original? He's like, the one on the right. I'm like, they both are.
That's not one. That's two.
Well, you should have thought for yourself, fuck stick. How about that?
Which two are original? But
Those ones.
Which movie?
Yeah.
So Snookaduka is asking about which movie we're talking
Asking
about.
you a question.
my movie. I'll post the.
That's the title.
I suppose start posting the fucking link.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. So hold on. Your Indiegogo is done?
The Indiegogo is done, so the donations now for everything are going through the website. So if you go to the website at the bottom, there's two big freaking gold buttons there that say donate. You click there, it'll go to PayPal.
Bam.
Bazam.
There it is.
Sweet. So yeah, for any of you newcomers right now, it's a World War II movie, short film, 30-minute short film based on Chapter 4 in Audie Murphy's memoir To Hell and Back. Audie Murphy being the famous Medal of Honor recipient from World War II.
And didn't he give that one away too?
Yes, he gave them all away. He doesn't have it. The family doesn't have it. Oh, should we talk about his? I don't want to slander anyone. Should we talk about my contact with his family?
Sure, just don't drop any names.
Dude, it's always slander if it's not true. If you got evidence of what was said, it's not slander.
Just
so.
don't drop any names, or otherwise they can get you on defamation.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So it's not too bad, but it's just kind of strange. I'll say it's just more weird. So eventually, after this movie,
They're from Texas.
So this movie.
We're lagging, so
The movie is being passed around and everything like that. So it's making the rounds in terms of, you know, history people, organizations and such, and even including Audie Murphy fandom. And I know a lot of people in the Audie Murphy fandom and in Audie Murphy research who are really good, you know, who are really good to have resources as, and they know other people who are closer to Audie Murphy's family and such. But I started to realize that Audie Murphy's family is very difficult to kind of get a hold of, and in a sketchy kind of
Probably
way.
because they've been harassed, you know. So.
Yeah, but it's still like kind of strange. So eventually, I got word that his son, one of his sons, found out that this movie was being made, and immediately wanted to put the kibosh on it, and without even like reading the script, without even learning what the hell it was. He was like, "Nope, I'm not doing. I'm not having
because
this movie."
Because it's going to draw so much attention to their family again. That's the thing. He probably just wants to be left the hell alone.
Well, that's what I kind of thought at first, but and I said, "Look, I would be glad to talk to him because we have this source who knows the Audie Murphy family, and so he was talking to me about it, and he's like, listen, something you gotta understand is that the Audie Murphy family, they're not like." You know, like close. That ever since he died, they all have kind of like had a very rocky relationship in terms of each other, and we're trying to fix all of his legal trouble that he started back when he was alive, and because he would towards the end of his life he was doing some little shady business deals, but they're just like yeah, we don't really. they're not really a fan of people trying to, capitalize off his name. I'm like, well, I'm not making money off this. This movie isn't,
You're losing.
I mean, I'm raising money.
Yeah.
I'm raising money to make the movie, but I'm not doing it to make money. I'm doing it because I think it's an important story.
You're doing it to teach history.
Yeah, absolutely, because it's an important story to me, and I like, getting it out there, and I just want to tell the story, and as an artist, say something about this. And but they're like, well, it's he's a little iffy about people doing stuff involving his dad. So then eventually we didn't get in touch with his son, but we got in touch with his son's lawyer. And I then found out that, that like his son was living with their lawyer. It was very strange. And, but it was funny. The lawyer was like, yeah, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, but we're not really, we're not really for this idea. And I'm like, well, I'm not asking you if I can make it. I'm not. And they're like, well, yeah. And they're like, well, it's just that we feel as though that his legacy shouldn't be exploited like this. And I'm just like, I don't care what you're talking about. Like, I'm going to make the movie no matter what. So basically that's it. And they kind of just stopped talking to me at that point, but they kind of, in a weird way, like danced around, like, we're going to take legal action, but it's like, okay, this isn't a direct adaptation of his book, which I'm pretty sure is public domain anyway. And it doesn't use a lot of because in his book, he used fake names for everyone. My movie uses their real names. And the German story in it is completely my invention. So it's not even like, it's not called To Hell and Back. It's called Reveille because it's based on this true story. It's not just, hey, this is an adaptation of To Hell and Back, but they were kind of dancing around the whole thing of like, yeah, we'll take legal action if we have to and stuff. I'm like, well, good luck then, but I'm not going to. It seems as though, what's that?
What are they going to do?
I don't know. I don't know, but it was
just because his dad's in the movie, like.
Yeah.
So
well,
that's
so
like, what are you gonna do? Take your dad out of participating in World War II? Like.
Yeah. Well, and then also one thing that I heard was that because I guess because this guy that we know, he read the script and I guess he was telling them about it and they didn't like the fact that Audie Murphy swears a couple times in my movie.
But it's
because they're like old people and they don't like swearing.
Well, hey, yeah, even back then, I'm sorry your dad said a couple of cuss words. He didn't drop the Oppenheimer probably, but like he swore. Like,
yeah.
Everybody, I've heard people that are like the purest Christians in the world drop a couple of cuss words in a stressful situation. Like, it just happens.
Yeah. He swears in his book. He swears in The Hell and Back.
He does. He does. And it's not in context. Yeah. Not in context, mind you. He swears as he's writing this.
Right. Well,
we're wondering what the hell they were doing. Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, the funny thing is that in doing a lot of research, I found actually handwritten notes that he wrote while he was writing To Hell and Back, the book. Like before he put them, in final form, he was like writing footnotes about it. And he said, I remember like he was in this page that I read, he's talking about being in France in the late 44, and it's just fucking frozen everywhere. And he's saying, every night I kept chipping away at that goddamn frozen ground. Like he wrote that in there, chipping away at that goddamn frozen ground. It's like, don't tell me he didn't swear occasionally. So
yeah, that's we already addressed the swearing thing a bit in that one of the first live streams we did. But it's like, people have always had potty mouths.
Yeah,
it's just a matter of like, get them into a stressful situation, and it relieves. It's actually like it's been proven through multiple studies since like I think the 80s or before that.
Yeah,
swearing because you think you're doing something wrong, but you're like, bam, it relieves. It's psychologically effective in relieving stress.
Yeah,
and it's part of the coping mechanism. And even if you're the most religious, straight edge person, you're gonna swear. Like my grandma, for example. But we'll just go back to that, and then we'll get back to your shit. She said the Oppenheimer, I think, less than 10 times in her entire life, right? Because that's kind of how they were raised. Like you just don't cuss, you don't curse like that. And a couple of them were on accident, but she always, oh my God, her favorite word when she like cooking something wrong or she missed something was shit. Her favorite word was shit. And like she like that's according to back then, it's like that's a swear word, And it's like you don't say that. And she'd be like, oh damn it, once in a while. But like her favorite word when she messed up, it's like how we'd say, oh fuck. She'd be like, ah shit. And it's like, and she never said goddamn unless it was in context and she was quoting somebody, because she was very, very Catholic, very religious. And she didn't like it when people said that, but she also wouldn't like correct people and like make a scene if they said that. But it's like, as religious as she was, she cussed all the time as far as like cussing. At the time, you have to realize, like, people that are listening, like, I know you get this, but like cursing back then, there were standards in society, right? A lot of standards, a lot of etiquette for
mannerisms and everything
eating,
were a lot stricter than they are now.
Right. And so cursing, saying certain words, even though we know nowadays that they're harmless, to an extent, they're words that when you really wanted to emphasize something, you would curse because it's like, whoa. And every language has this, every culture has this.
Yeah.
But like back in the 40s, the people that grew up during the Depression, cussing was just not a normal thing. Like you just didn't do that. Right?
Yeah.
And for him to say, I had to chip through this goddamn ice, it's like, yeah, he's pissed, and he went back to it, and he's like, yeah, it was not good. It was bad. It was just like, God,
Yeah.
we'd be sitting there going, fuck on every chip, and he'd be sitting there going, God damn it, like that. It's a little bit more mild version of cussing.
Yeah.
And that's another thing we were talking about on the first episode. It's like the use of fuck. It wasn't as prevalent as the war films wanted. They just want to make it relatable, which I get. But it's like, yeah, people like even the band and brother, the actual Easy Company 506 guys, they were commenting on that, like when they were reviewing the films or the short or the episodes before they came out. They were like, yeah, it was okay, but the use of the F word, it's a little bit more than what we actually used it, Yeah. And so it's
so that's now that my script, I think only one character says fuck, and he only says it I think maybe 3 times, and it's more accurate that way. But Audie Murphy does say shit and goddamn a couple times in my script, but he says chicken,
which
shit
is very common because that's like at that point for somebody like Audie, it's like that's saying something, It's like that's
serious business.
And people like nowadays, because we're so desensitized to that, it's like, well, okay, he said shit, but it's like that at that point, it's like a big deal. Like when you curse, you're frustrated, you're trying to get a point across. There's a reason why you're saying that, because it's going to have an effect on people.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely. But it's funny, like, it's a lot of more modern war movies. Like I'll hear, in terms of like a World War II movie, I've heard them where, they'll say like motherfucker or something. It's like they didn't, that phrase didn't come around until like, the 1960s. And,
that didn't even exist. Yeah.
Well, it probably did, but
I mean, Alabama exists. It probably happened, but
but no, it's a very we'll talk about where that came from on a private chat, because YouTube won't like that. But like that motherfucker, it's like that's a pretty modern term.
Yeah.
And like cocksucker, it's like just the way it's used. It's like, you had your few choice words like, hell, damn, bitch, son of a bitch, goddamn, and we had fuck, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But like even somebody saying I'm pissed off. My grandma was always like, You know, I'm like, well, this is what we say now. Like, we'd say we're ticked off or upset. And I was like, well, isn't that like saying pissed off? And she's like, no. Because if you say you're ticked off, it's not going to set off any like whatever.
Right. It doesn't sound as serious. Yeah.
Right.
This is a bit off. Someone just commented. Someone just commented. I'm not sure how many weapons would appear. Okay, would appear in the movie Reveille. So
okay, that's what I was going to comment on. Well, let's talk about weapons. So let's see. You got how many guys in the American squad at first total?
7.
Yep. How many in the German squad?
I believe also 7. they're pretty equal.
Okay. But in the opening scene,
yes,
you might have a few guys with them, so like 20, 25 probably.
No, it's going to probably be like, well, yeah, about 20.
Yeah, 20.
Yeah, about 20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
in the very opening, you get a bunch of Germans, and we talked about though having the squad leader armed with a Beretta M38 submachine gun.
That's fun to track down, by the way. I've been trying to track them down.
A MAP 38. Yeah, good luck. So
that would be ideal. If not, then just an MP40. But all the Americans in the squad have just M1 rifles, and then all of the Germans have Mauser K98s. And
well, the Americans, one guy is BAR. He's a squad automatic guy.
True. Yeah, I forgot about that. That's how
the squad is just set up. You have to have one BAR. Yeah.
That's true. No, I forgot about that. Yeah, because I actually wrote fight into the movie a bit more. Yeah. One of them has a BAR, and that's it for the American arsenal. There's no Thompsons or M1 carbines, but so that's it for the Americans, and the rest of the Germans have Mauser K98 rifles, and then Brander has an MP40. And at the very beginning of the movie, before the German squad sets out, they pass a German machine gun nest built into the trees, and there's going to be either an MG34 or 42. My guy who can get that for me, he says he can get either one.
Yeah, get the 34 if you can.
Okay, 34. Good, because you don't see that one in movies.
Yeah, if they would have been from North Africa, that probably would have been more prevalent.
Well, and also, we're talking 43. The 42 was mainly sent to the Eastern Front at that point.
Right.
Yeah.
Because they wanted to get as much firepower over there as they could. But like, it's another misconception that about
there's gajillions of MG42s.
Right. And like in France, in Normandy, in 44, yes.
Yeah.
There were also a shitload of 34s, but hey, we don't talk about that. But like in the Mediterranean campaign in itself, the prevalence is going to be the 34s because A, the guys are proficient on it.
Yeah.
B, the supply lines would not have necessarily made it there. They'd have to go through, hostile waters at that point.
Fair, and a ton of Italian machine guns.
Yeah, and that's well, no, but at that point the Germans would have had a lot of leftover shit. They would have had a lot
of their stuff, but it would have been uncommon to see a lot of Italian machine guns still laying around in rear line use and shit.
Yes, and so the original pictures we've seen of the 15th Panzergrenadier Division, they've mainly got 34s. Correct, Mike?
Yeah, they do, yeah.
Yep. So, I mean, it's that people underplay they think when the 42 came out that everybody was just everybody's got a 42 because they're faster to make, they're cheaper to make. Well, the 34, the most prevalent machine gun of World War II Germany.
That's fair, and it was also a much better machine gun, and it was the one that was used in almost all of the vehicles and basically all of the planes, and basically only ground units got 42s. So
yep.
Like the 34 was way more common.
Yeah, but that's interesting because I have this talking about the 34. I got this drawing that I did over here.
See what I'm talking about with lag though?
Yeah.
How fucking shitty it is, like this internet. And this is good tonight. But it's just fucking the lag.
This is a drawing I did.
Yeah.
German machine gunner at WN71 at Omaha Beach. You can see Omaha Beach in the background here. And this bunker actually still exists. However, I found out that this guy's unit, which was the 726 Grenadier Regiment, they were only assigned MG-34s, not MG-42s. So that's what he has. He has a 34, not a 42 that everyone always thinks when they think of Omaha Beach.
Well, Saving Private Ryan's a movie, so.
Yep.
But no, I like those details.
That is a sick drawing. Like, he's an artist. Like, he's an artist first, a film producer second, but because he's an artist and understands, we'll tie this in, the art of war.
Oh.
Woo! He wants to be realistic, and like, you gotta do research. If you're an artist, you have to do research on how your style is going to be, and previous people that did your similar style and like adapting from them. Same with history. And so when you combine that with a historical artist, well, you get things that, they go, well, I want to get this as accurate as possible and as good as possible. And like that, drawing you did, it's, most of the machine guns that the Germans used, even through the 1945, were 34s.
Yep.
They had a lot of 42s. Yes, they got them out there quick and all that stuff, and they were effective and whatever. But like, it still, they had so many 34s made up because they started those pre-war. They started manufacturing those, and they had made. Do they stop making them through World War II, or did they continue them through? I think they stopped, right?
No, they literally had to make them for tanks and planes. They were the only things that would fit.
The production went down, but it did never cease.
Well, they didn't need to make infantry ones anymore.
Yeah.
So they could divert all of that production to basically vehicle and planes. Yeah. So.
Well, I have to really quickly comment. Koba, you said you're drunk on a Friday night. Man, you're a boomer, dude. You got to watch your health.
I mean, to be fair, though, if you had to pick a night to be drunk on, Friday's a pretty good one.
Yeah, no, Koba, he was there when I first started my channel, or actually started posting shit. I appreciate him. I appreciate you watching, bud. Boomer shit posting.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, no, guys, that's my thing, actually. I'm a filmmaker and artist, so I do drawings like that. But, so I consider them both.
Right. So if you have any of his art when he dies, it's going to be worth a lot.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. But no, that's again, going back to all this stuff. Those are the details that I really like to get into, and Mike B and Devon have really helped me out with that stuff when it comes to this movie. So, props to you guys.
Well, he now identifies as Devonius.
Yeah, I'm Felonious Devonius.
Felonious Devonius, excuse me.
He could also be Erroneous Devonius.
Erroneous Devonius, yep.
Oh, he's eroding.
That's right.
So, yeah, no, that's the thing is, like, there's a couple new people here tonight, which is great. Welcome. This is never a good stream. It's always a shit show. It's always low budget. We're not using high def cameras. We don't have a script that we're going to be like, ooh, we do this. It's just cut off the cuff. We're like, hey, what do you want to talk about? Well, I got these dog tags today. Cool. We'll talk about that at one point, and then we just kind of go. So welcome aboard, all you new people. And again, if you want the link to what we're talking about, like his short film that we're going to be working on. And, oh, by the way, the kit, the American kit, is still out there aging. It's going to get some good sun in the next few days.
Hey, I got my MP40 pouches out in the 100-degree weather right now.
Yeah, it's fucking hot. It's not good. It's
well, we spent the last 2 days wearing body armor out in this. So.
Yeah, we get out there at like 9 a.m. and it's like it's already 70 degrees, and we're like, okay, this isn't bad. It's got a breeze, and like we get through a couple of videos. And by the last one, which you guys will see if you pay attention, the last one today, I was like, I got like, it's just brain fog because I'm so fucking hot and like just sweating profusely under this body armor. And I'm like, we're gonna do the last shot. And then this is a cool test. And
wrap it up. Sorry we ruined your helmet's stuff, Poland.
All right, so yeah, I gotta go let the weasel horse back in here. Mike, question right there. That's a question I asked you from Spookaduka.
Okay. The actor who's playing Audie Murphy, that was actually a really important thing going into it. Well, it was the physical and the performance wise. It's like all the planets have to align when it comes to this stuff. The guy I have cast for him, he's 5'5", which Murphy, I believe, when he went into the service, he was around 5'3", and he grew to 5'4" by the time he was out. So it's going to be close enough to where, he's the right size. And it's funny when you make movies too. Like you can.
How long is he going to be on frame with this whole body? You know what I mean? Like,
well, there's going to be a lot of shots where guys moving and such. So here's the thing though, like his friends who were around him, like one of his best friends that was in his squad was Laddie Tipton, and he was like 6'1" or something. So
just a giant.
Yeah. So it's going to be like you're going to see how short he is.
Yeah. Jeez.
But it's actually when I started casting, there was a guy who wanted to audition for Murphy, and I saw his headshot, and he looked a lot like him. I was like, wow, this guy, okay. And then I was looking at his info, and it was like height 6'4". I was like, oh, that's not gonna work.
That's not gonna work.
Yeah.
You're gonna have him crawl around on his knees the whole time.
He gets down on his knees with shoes on his kneecaps. Yeah. But, I did ask because I thought he looked enough like him. I was like, and at the time I didn't have the guy cast. I didn't know the guy who's playing him now. And I was like, well, okay, like, dude, send me a reel, like do a scene. So I highlighted a part from the script. I was like, read this scene right here. And right when it started, it was clear that this guy didn't know anything about like what was going on, like how to act, because he was like screaming. He thought that, okay, we're in war. Yeah, I'm just going to be yelling. So he was like, so in my script, it's this part where Murphy is telling them what to do. And he's like, you go do this, you go do that. I'm going to go do this and such. I won't give too much away. But yeah, it's a moment in the script where he's like, go do this, go do that, blah, 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 blah. And this guy, during his when he sent me his tape of him doing the scene, he has the paper and he's like, you go do that, go do that. I'm just like, it was insane. And I didn't even get back to him. I was so embarrassed just from
That's too much energy. Dial it down a notch.
Yeah. And that's another thing that, like, when we do cast everyone, and in November, before we actually shoot the movie, I haven't all of November mapped out when I'm going to be there. The shooting is going to be like probably 7 to 8 days. It's not going to be that long. And so we're going to take the whole month to prepare. So those first couple weeks, when we get there, before we shoot, we're actually going to like kind of train the actors and train them how to move, train them how to use their weapons and such. And I'm hoping that, because Mike B, he's going to be there for it. I'm hoping he can be there before we start shooting, so we can actually like start working with the actors and such, teaching them how to how to act, not to scream and be ostentatious and shit like that.
And then, so I was gone for a bit because the weasel horse had to poop, I guess, or he said he did. And, did you talk about the actor that you did end up choosing and how he was like? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. And so that's a big thing. He also looks a hell of a lot like him.
Yeah. Mike has seen what he looks like. I guess I won't reveal like too much about him as of right now, but no, he is locked into playing, and he does look a lot like him. And it's funny. The other day he actually messaged me. He's like, okay, do you think I need to put on more weight, or do I need to lose weight, or do I need to get more muscle or lose more muscle? And I'm just like, whatever you think. When you look at pictures, like, I think you're pretty good, man.
Yep.
But he's pretty serious. Yeah, he's pretty serious about it. And he was also in the military, so.
Yep. He was in the military, and he gets it, and that's probably why it was not the. It's like, well, yeah. So no, it's I don't want to spoil it either because it's gonna be an awesome surprise for people, and I may have leaked it to Devonius here.
I have seen it. Yep.
But like, it's pretty
It's pretty
Pretty
damn
close.
close. Yeah.
And it's like you were saying, like, do I need to add weight or lose weight? No,
You're fine.
you're that's about it. Yeah. And no, and then so I've been talking to him a bit, not much. Like it was the first kind of contact, and he didn't know who I was. And I like made some smart ass comment on Facebook, and well, not smart ass, but it was kind of funny. But he had to ask you, like, who the fuck is this fat fuck? You know? And, yeah.
That's what
no,
he's. Yeah,
no,
he's like,
it's gonna be really good. And then you sent me you sent me all the headshots of like, so that you sent me the picture of the original people who were with him, and you sent me the headshots, and I'm like, I do not envy your job because all the headshots look good.
Yeah.
You know, like it's just oh, shit, you have to cast these people, but again, like how they act and how they carry themselves is going to be it'll probably be easier for you than I think, but like it's still like these people could every single one of these actors that you've reached out to that have gotten back to you, like they're all like really good. But that also is a part like your attention to detail and like, so it's really good.
It is good, yeah. But you are right, because when I first started, like when I first submitted the whole thing for the casting, and then you immediately start getting responses to it, and it's really uplifting. You're like, oh wow, these people are interested, and you're clicking. I was like, wow, that guy looks perfect for it. Then you're like, wow, that guy does too. And then it's just like, oh my god, I gotta choose one of them, But you are right. It's cool though, because they do really get into it and all that stuff. But there are a couple. The one thing that is kind of sometimes it is a little long in the tooth with this is that you get all these headshots and such of these people. I mean, they have a bunch of them because they want to show what they look like and everything. And sometimes it's like, this guy will be really enthusiastic. Oh, I want to play this part. And for this movie specifically, I'm like, dude, you look too much like a male model. Like, you don't look like a World War II soldier.
You gotta look more like a normal person.
Just like a friggin', not necessarily a pretty boy, but like just a kind of ugly, average looking dude. It's still the same today. It's like, well, not everybody in the military is totally out. Like even there was who the hell said this? They were talking about Marines and their dress blues, which is arguably, well, not even arguably, I think it's the best looking U.S. uniform that exists, right? The USMC dress blues, because they're from the fucking Royal Marines back in the day.
Yeah.
But it's like, who the hell was it? I can't remember, but like, they're like, so, girls always and people always comment on, the dress blues. And he's like, well, there's a lot of really ugly people that wear dress blues.
Yeah, there is.
And it's true. There's a lot. I was with a lot of really like
heinous looking people. Yeah.
I mean, guys, like, again, I'm pretty heterosexual, but I can still tell if a guy looks good. We had a lot of good looking guys that were in my unit.
Yeah.
And there's guys that are just like, that's unfortunate. I'm sorry that happened. But hey, but they're still wearing the uniform technically. But that's how it is, though. It's just the luck of the draw, especially in a draft military. Again, a lot of people volunteer, but like if you're going to be drafted, it's like, well, you're going to probably just want to join to get it over with and all that shit. And so you're going to get people that are real. Like they're just, not everybody's pretty.
Yeah.
No, not everybody's pretty. And so,
well, and then like just having actors that are not as pretty, like that's going to, ground it a bit more. But yeah, there's a lot of them on there when they would submit for the roles. Their headshots are like, some of them are like shirtless dudes, who are like going like this with these fucking ripped pecs and stuff. It's like, no, dude, people didn't work out like that.
That's more time for you because you had to take a moment and like, take a couple of minutes for yourself between looking at each one of those. We get it. It's the plight of the director, producer, cast. Like we get that. So, I mean, I'm just going to point out the obvious. It's nothing personal. It is what it is. So,
Look,
but like,
man,
I get why you struggle with that.
Look, dude, it's part of the job description.
Right. It's part of the job, but I also do it for fun. Yes.
I don't
like property, but I also do it for fun.
Yeah. But no, it's really cool. Like, even the headshots for the Germans, which we don't know what they looked like, they're pretty like a lot of these guys. It's not. I don't want to fucking hit these guys' egos because like they'll go back and watch this shit after they did the film. And they'll be like, well, like no, it's like some of these guys are just like they're average looking dudes, which is not bad. Like most people want average looking people they can relate to.
Right.
It doesn't mean you're ugly or hot.
Yeah.
It means like you're relatable. You look good. You don't look bad, but you also aren't like fucking whatever unrealistic. And so a lot of these headshots that you sent specifically for the Germans, it's like, well, shit, these are like real looking people, like real. Mm-hmm. They're not out of anybody's league. You know what I mean? Like they're just good looking people that are just like you would find from a bunch of German, any country soldiers in World War II, you'd find the majority of people are just going to be average because that's the majority of your population.
Yep.
So.
Absolutely. The guy I have lined up for the German guy I have lined up for author, that guy is like, Jesus Christ, that guy looks like he could be a World War II soldier. I don't know if I showed you what he looks like.
Yeah, he showed me his face, and he looks like just he's not extremely hot. He's not fucking ugly. He's just like an average looking dude that looks like, hey, I've had some life experiences that are fun, you know?
Yeah,
like,
he looks like, you know. His like the skin on his face, like he looks like he's been through some shit. And but yeah, he's not like super hunky or anything like that. And the actors I have lined up for Brander are also really good. But that was another hard one because when I submitted for it, I'm like, okay, 50 to 60-year-old guys. And it's like, you have to look like worn out, it's just you do. And I'm getting all these submissions from like these 50 to 60-year-old guys who are like these big round heads and, American looking guys. And it's like, dude, exactly.
Yeah, I get it.
But so I was fortunate to find some guys with some kind of shrunken faces and such. And that's what I'm looking for with that character.
And those guys, they all look, even though they're in their 50s or right there around, again, they're average. Like they're just an everybody's person. Like they're not extremely fucking hot. They're not extremely hideous. They're just normal. That's another thing that drives me nuts about like most Hollywood productions. Like, okay, we'll rag on Fury some more. Brad Pitt, the guy's a fucking hawk. Always has been, always will be. Okay?
Right.
Is a fucking hunk. The other guys, Shia LaBeouf, don't like him. I don't think we get along in person. He's a good-looking dude, right?
Right.
But he's like riding the line of like good-looking to average. You know what I mean? Like he's like there, and which is fine. And the rest of them are actually average. But like you get Brad Pitt as your main character. It's like,
he's a draw. His name's on it. That's
that too. But like that's another thing that's gonna be cool about this is like most people in this film. Actually, everybody in this film, they're going to be relatively not famous. Which, again, if you're watching this in hindsight, after we worked on the film, that's not a bad thing.
That's right.
That's a really good thing.
Also, if you do get famous, you owe us.
Well, that's Canadian coming out of him. Hey, let's just tone it down a bit. Just they don't owe you shit. Just we're going to work the long game. That's how the American. That's the American in me, like the actual born and raised American. We're gonna work the long game on them. Like you don't just immediately say you owe us after this. Fucking clown.
Oh, I'm just gonna be like a handshake and a thank you song.
A handshake.
Handshake.
Yeah. Okay.
Talking about Brad Pitt and Fury, though, that's like the whole movie is basically like his hair is the main star of it, and that's. It's so stupid because like, okay, dude, like that's more of a German military haircut, and also it's like a modern day like undercut. It's not World War II era ish,
Dude, in the fucking field, I don't give a shit what time it is, what country it is, what war it is. When you're out in the field for an extended period of time, nobody gives a flying fuck how good their hair looks. This is a good reason. All right, and it's like, dude, there might be the one guy in the unit. Okay, there might be the one guy in your whole platoon or company, rather.
Yeah.
That might care about that shit and do it every day. And you all make fun of him because it's like, really?
Quit being such a pretty boy.
Who in the fuck is gonna see you looking as good as you do, wearing all your kit that's fucking mud stained and it's faded, and you look like a fucking piece of shit. Like, who the fuck's gonna see that? But hold on, I was gonna make a point and I just fucking forgot because I went on an insulting rant about what the hell was I saying? You were saying about Brad Pitt, his hair. Yeah, nobody's gonna give a shit. But you said something before, and I was gonna make a point, and I just fucked it up.
His hair is not accurate. It's like it's more German military cut, and it just looks more like a modern day Undertaker. Right. It doesn't look like 1940s era.
Right, and exactly. Yeah, it's a very modern cut, and I'm not a hair expert on like I know a bit, about the styles that existed during time periods, but that I'm like, yeah, you completely shave the sides, which is not usual, unless you're gonna shave your whole head, which was also not usual. Yeah, it just I don't know who the fuck they were trying to like pander to, but
I think they're just trying to make them look as best as they could. But if I can bring it all back, like we're not gonna do that in our movie.
Right, so I remember what I was gonna say. I was gonna like do this shit. I had a really good question on chat. Terran Ghost, a few minutes ago. Will there be, or he missed the word "be"? Sorry. Will there be any more details for both American and Germans, like grenades, ammo pouches, and MREs, which means rations? Yes. You must be. Sound off in the comments. How long have you been subscribed, and like, is this your first time watching one of these streams? Because it's not an insult. I just want to know like what I have to say, because we've talked about this and it's a great subject for this film. And the answer is yes, but I want to know like how much you've watched and whatever. Yes. Because
what specifically are you
literally like
what are you talking about?
Right, and so Mike and I have been talking at least for like an hour a day the past couple of weeks about just stupid details. Well, we consider them stupid. I consider them like really, really just like detailed shit like Devin's into. But you just don't have enough a bit on this one because you're Canadian. And it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It really is. If we ever made a Canadian World War II film where the Canadians were involved in like, Normandy and Caen and everything, which they don't have any, and they don't realize the Canadians were the last ones to defeat the Germans in the north after Caen. Whatever. But if we were to go there, go be the advisor, the lead advisor.
That's right. Yeah.
But right now, this is my fucking.
That's your game. I'm not super. I know stuff about the Americans, but not as much as you.
Yeah. Well, that again, we all have our. There's no way like so. Mike A. He knows shit that I will never be able to learn in my lifetime. Okay. Same with you. Same with me. The cool thing is when you meet people that can fill in those gaps and you can make something cool out of it. Well, that's awesome. And so,
absolutely.
Even like talking with the fellow historian that like even where it goes nowhere, you're not making a film or anything. You're just talking, and you're like, holy shit, I did not even think about that. Wow, that's awesome. That's what it's all about. And we're gonna happen to make a film that can educate people on how things actually were.
Right.
We can happen to do that. That's a good thing. Like we take all of our right. That's what I call useless knowledge. For years, I've called it that. Well, maybe it's not that useless.
I mean, it's still pretty useless.
Do I have to pat your head again?
No.
Someone in the comments here. Someone in the comments here said, "Well, Brad Pitt character in the movie was German, so no, he just spoke German. And even if he was German, he's in the fucking U.S. military. He would have a U.S. military haircut. So I don't know what your logic is there.
We speak American in this tank.
Oh, I thought he.
I mean, I'm just throwing a line out
But
there.
I saw his twin brother, him as a spy in some other movie where he was trying to speak Italian real bad. So I mean,
Yeah, Arrivederci.
You probably should have just spoke German if you know how to speak German. So.
Shit, I saw that too. Like that. Oh well, it's debunked. Fury is debunked. It's a scam. It's shit.
That movie is a punchline for war movie enthusiasts today. I mean, and probably for guys like you as well.
Yeah. Well, and that. So I told you this. Like, my buddies, like when we were playing like Pirates or Magic or some shit in the past few years, or like from 2014 until like 2018 when I really was into it, they would literally put on Fury, and they'd be like, "Let's play Fury." I'm like, "Don't just like in the background." I'm like, "Just don't fucking just no."
Yeah.
No. And they're like, let's go Monkey Reacts. And like, we were playing Magic. And I think it was a distraction so that I would suck more, honestly. But like, I'm sitting there and I'm like listening to the dialogue. Like, all right, so I'm gonna fucking, all right, so this is a 3-10. I'm gonna fucking hit you for 3, and then I'm gonna roll the dice. And this is it's not what they would say. I'm like just getting pissed, like as I'm trying to make the attack on my turn, and I'm like, and I think it was a fucking conspiracy, but no, we actually, the first time like we watched it, I'd never seen it because I didn't want to, and they actually like we sat down and watched it, and I'm sitting there going, oh God, no. Yeah. They would laugh. They would laugh. They'd be like, what's wrong about it? And I'm like, just let me watch it. And so we watched it, and I'm like, oh fuck, pause the fucking movie.
I have to rant.
And I'd go on a rant, and they got a kick out of that shit, and it was like hilarious because they know what the hell I was talking about, but they just love to hear me like, well, this was never fucking, you scared of fucking Sugar 44, and then his second tank got hit with a Panzerfaust? No, that's not fucking right. They hit the first one because, and I'm just like, well, now in hindsight, I'm like, I was an entertainment piece. I was the clown, right. Like Joe Pesci's clown in The Godfather, or not The Godfather, Goodfellas. What, am I some sort of fucking clown to you?
What's so funny?
What's so funny?
Yeah.
So, but anyway, so that.
Hell. Yeah, I saw that movie in theater. Unfortunately,
you paid money to see that?
I did. I didn't know how bad it was going
to be. That hurts even more.
Why? Because you put money to see it?
No, I haven't even seen it. Didn't even bother.
He has no fucking clue what we're talking about.
No, I've seen little snippets here and there.
You got to see the whole thing.
I haven't ever sat down and like watched it.
It's a fucking dumpster fire. It is.
That's why I have no intention on watching it unless I literally have nothing better to do. And I'm like,
well, okay. How about this? In 45, apparently there were entire SS companies still resisting the Americans ferociously.
No.
Marching in formation to battle.
No.
Singing.
I mean, in a dream world, maybe.
You know what would be great is if are either of you guys familiar with Red Letter Media?
Yes.
On YouTube. Yes. Mike, do you know them?
I have a feeling I used to watch them back in the day. What is the premise?
You've probably seen them.
Okay, so their main thing they're famous for are the Plinkett reviews, the Star Wars Plinkett reviews, where they review the prequel movies.
That's probably where I saw them. Yeah.
Okay, but the thing is, they have this show on their YouTube channel called Best of the Worst, where they're basically just they're a bunch of friends, a bunch of dudes. They sit around and they watch shitty movies, and they make fun of them, and then do like roundtable discussions about how fucking shitty and funny they are. And I was thinking we should do the same with like terrible war movies.
We should get together with you got 3 of us here, but at a round table that'd be a triangle table. So we'd have to do a couple more people, like some people, but we have to do it in person too, like to get the actual how. We have to get somebody that knows how to do film. Don't know anybody that does film well. I know somebody that fucking videotaped a bunch of fucking army men back in the day.
We'll figure that part out.
Yeah.
Not even stop action, but like, hey, it's No, but that would be fucking cool. I'd be willing to do that. Like, just sit down and watch a movie that we've never seen.
Yeah.
And like critique it. And here's the thing: is we could what we'd have to do is we'd have to make it good, because I hate when I'm watching something with them and they pause it for 5 minutes and I lose track of what happened and all that shit.
Right.
It'd be like, we should watch it in its full take notes.
Yep.
Each one of us.
Yeah. That's what they do.
You put the minute down.
Yeah. That's what they do in Red Letter Media when they watch. They film themselves watching the movie, but they don't show the entire thing.
Yes.
Like they'll sit there watching it, and they show themselves react to it, but they don't stop and talk about it. Then they do. They show them. They talk about it afterwards.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. Because filming the reaction, like we could film the entire thing, plug it into an outlet, because it's going to be over an hour. Plug it in and like, because I'm like, when I watch shit that's like fucking dumb, I'm like, what the fuck? That's about all I'll say. I'll be like, really? And then I'll just be watching it because I want to hear the next part of the train wreck,
Right. But like, it would be perfect for guys like us who are, like really into all of the war history and stuff like that, to be watching these shitty movies and just ripping on how ridiculous they are.
It's just that would be. We'd have to figure out like a secret like central location for everyone though.
It would be hard if money wasn't a problem. I'd just fly over there and do it with you guys every time we had a chance.
Well, no. We had to have more than 3. That's what I'm saying. Like we have to have at least one more, because then it would be a square.
We could have
it would be a trial.
Right. We could have Alexander, my guy that did the reviews of that shitty YouTube movie.
The French Canadian guy that you don't like because he's Canadian, but he's not French Canadian.
Yeah, nobody likes Quebec.
Well, he was originally from France. He's not Canadian.
Oh,
he's
that's actually French. Oh, that's better.
And his accent's actually really good. Like he put effort
he's
into
from
it.
French, like from France. Yeah.
So Devin can get along, but that's a square though.
Yeah.
We need 5.
Okay.
You just said we needed 4, and now we need 5.
I said I said 3 is a triangle, 4 is a square, 5 is a pentagon, but you can actually sit around in a circle.
Well,
we could do this. Like it's it'd be fine. I'm just giving I'm giving this fucker a hard time, like in person. I really want to like punch him really hard in the sternum and like break his sternum a little bit.
Don't do that.
Just a little bit, not like full all the way through.
Don't do that. We still got work to do tomorrow. Remember that.
So tomorrow night
tomorrow night would be a better night, but we still have shit to do.
After I exploit the shit out of you.
Yeah, after I'm slave labor for a little bit.
But no, we should do that. Like we could write an air fucking B&B somewhere.
Yeah.
Central.
That would be great.
Or actually no, what would be central is our place, because he's from Quebec. You're from fucking Idaho.
Yeah.
He lives a couple hours away from me, which is not far.
It'd have to be like, Wisconsin.
I see what you did there. I see what you fucking did there. It's not authorized or approved yet.
He can still come out and shoot guns then, because he'll be close.
Yeah, he come out and shoot guns because he doesn't have a lot of experience with rifles.
He doesn't. Alexander, though, his YouTube channel is called History Legends Animated, and he did 3 videos on 3 separate scenes from Fury, and he actually right now, as we speak, is uploading the video that he and I worked on for Hacksaw Ridge. So that's going to be up soon.
Which is, on Facebook, send me the. Okay, so you've seen Hacksaw Ridge?
Yeah.
Send me the photo you did again. I know I just don't want to scroll up. Like, send me the photo of actual Hacksaw Ridge and Desmond Doss standing on it. On Facebook.
Yeah.
I'm just going to show Devin really quick.
All right,
and you can see his reaction.
Yeah, let me find it.
See how phony the movie was compared to the movie? I actually talked to a guy who was an advisor for Hacksaw Ridge, and I'm like, you got to hang yourself.
Well, yeah.
He was Australian. A lot of the advisors for that movie were Australian.
That's weird.
Yeah, and I was like, you got to hang yourself. So.
Did he agree with you?
Like, do you know anything about American shit at all? So,
Well, I give you credit as a doc. You know a lot about American shit, and I appreciate that. So since you're a fucking U.S. citizen
I have to
now,
live now. Yeah, I live here now.
probably should fucking know a
True.
bit.
That way I don't get profiled at the airport as much. So,
But no, it's you just gotta see this picture because like I had not seen this picture before.
okay.
So I don't know a lot about what actually happened that day.
Yeah.
But we were talking about it, and he was telling me this thing, and I'm like, you know what? As much as I'd not like to believe this, I totally fucking get it.
Yeah.
Like how this was. Okay. It's gonna take forever to load. I'm lagging hard. There's Desmond Doss at the top of the ridge.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's like
Just hanging out.
Like 25.
Having the time of his life.
Yeah. It's like 30 feet mostly.
Oh,
it's not even.
So in the movie, it was like a 200-foot fucking.
Yeah,
cliff.
it's like a sheer. Yeah.
Just straight up fucking. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Well, like this. I mean, it's not easy. Like that's,
No, that's
not
still
easy.
a good amount, but that's
That's
not
like 30 feet
Yeah.
versus 200.
So dramatic effect, Mike.
Yes, for dramatic
Most
effect.
of,
And Vince Vaughn was a great
Yeah.
platoon
Most
sergeant in that. Great platoon sergeant.
Where he's shooting his grease gun just like. Yeah.
Yeah, just. Yeah, this is gonna make a difference. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean,
Wow.
that would have sucked. Like on the left, like the real one, that would have sucked. But it wasn't like they're climbing a fucking landing craft, fucking Navy net going up this thing.
Yeah.
And also, there won't be that many guys on the fucking net.
No. Also, how would they get the net on the cliff?
No.
Well, right.
Well,
But like, look at this right now.
Yeah.
How much weight is that? Each guy. I'm sorry, Mike. Just really quick. How much does each guy weigh? Even if, so
With all their gear and
they're
stuff.
150 pounds. We'll just say
All right.
average guy.
With
Plus
50
the 80
pounds of
pounds,
shit on,
80
yeah.
pounds of shit. So they're all over 200 pounds.
Yeah.
How many guys is that on a fucking net?
That's like 50 people there. Yeah, that's a lot.
That's gonna fucking the first time at this scene, well, even before this, that thing would have been like boom, giving way. Like the
Yeah.
rocks
Yep.
would come falling down on them. Like there's no fucking way. There's no
what I was going to tell you was actually the nets in talking about the real battle, the escarpment there, that spot where they're hanging, that's the only part of it that's just like straight up. The rest of it's it's like a real steep hill. So most of the guys would actually just climb it up freehand. Like they would, and that's how they got the ropes up there. They had some ladders and like they just basically climbed up freehand, and just Desmond Doss was actually one of the people that tied that rope ladder there.
So it was the rope ladder, but it was like the single rope ladder, right?
Yeah, it's the actual like mountain ladder.
Okay, yeah, there you go. Yeah, and again, it would have sucked because it's not fun for anywhere.
Yeah,
but like it's not this like dramatic shit. Yeah, it's just, and I can't show you the picture. I don't know how to send I don't think you can send pictures.
Share
in chat.
Screen share right there. You can pull up your screen and press share.
Okay, hold on. Let me save this picture really quick.
Okay.
So I can do a screen share. Yeah, because the guys want to see this, and that's fair.
Yeah, it's dramatically hilarious when compared to
it's pretty goddamn bad.
Okay, so I'll zoom in to where it's. All right, and then share.
Can't do that whistle.
Window. All right.
There it is.
So, for those of you who are watching, Desmond Doss is the guy on the top. The guy, like the subject of the movie. He's on top at the most intense peak part that they had to go up.
Yep.
If they actually chose to go up that part.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the movie depicts it as though it's like this 400-foot drop, but really it was like this 30 to 40-foot, high thing, and that spot that you see right there is the steepest part of it.
Yeah.
It was actually, if you see the real thing, it's more of just like a really steep hill. It's not even like just a cliff.
Right.
And Yeah, most of the guys, like, because it wasn't too high and it wasn't too steep, most of the guys, instead of using the rope ladders, would just climb it like freehand. So yeah, the movie is bullshit. That's what this amounts to.
Oh, weird.
But Alexander's video for it is uploading right now. We're doing 3 parts. Part 1 is he wanted to break it up, but yeah, he and I we ripped that movie a new one. So I'll show you the movie when I'll show you share the video when he's done uploading.
Yeah, and that's fine. It's like I was telling Devin about how he was. We should actually watch that. It's not that long. After we do the stream, about him actually critiquing it, and I'm like, he didn't get anything wrong. He just missed a few things, which is fine.
Yeah.
But I'm like, what he got was all correct. What he said was all correct.
Yes. Yeah.
And it was like, I did not disagree with him on any point. I was just like, well, I would have added this, and we talked about that, which is not that much. It's just little details. But
right.
And it's like, that's why it'd be great to have advisors that he knows shit that I don't know.
Yeah, and you know shit he doesn't.
I don't know. And I know shit that he doesn't. And when we come together, it's like, well, we've got all those gaps. And then we get a third person in that goes, well, you know, this would have actually been, oh, so it's more accurate now.
Yes, it's even more.
Yep.
Yeah, but yeah, you're an advisor on Reveille. Alexander's an advisor on Reveille. So both you guys are going to be coming out to LA and working together. It's going to be fucking great.
Yep.
Damn.
And then Devin, you ever make a Canadian
or something about World War I.
You should, like, eventually, like, when you get big, it's not if you when you get big, we should pay some homage to Canadian forces because they served in both the World Wars, Korea, not Vietnam.
I agree.
They did serve in Vietnam, but for the North Koreans.
I agree. I absolutely agree. Do like a Passchendaele or something, however they pronounce that.
Yeah. Oh God, that movie.
That's a shitty movie.
Oh,
I've never seen it.
That'd be a good one to watch. Because
go watch it.
No.
Okay.
No. That'll be one of those films that we all watch together.
We watch together. Okay.
And we get your raw reaction. You're going to be like, I don't know that much about World War I, but no.
It's like you don't need to know anything about World War I.
You just sit there and be like, oh God, the endings.
It's horrendous.
But yeah, so that'd be cool because like Canada actually does not get any credit.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, and they were in Italy.
Yeah, they were with the British. Yeah.
Yep, they were heavily in Italy, and they were in Normandy too. But hey, you know, they were actually, like, again, if you look at the actual map, like the virtual map, like I sent you of whatever, the Canadian forces were actually the ones that stopped the Germans from going north and east, like escaping out of Normandy.
Yeah.
And they stopped them there. The Canadians did.
Right.
And they were just like, yeah. And then the British caught up, and they were like, okay, we're enforcing you. And so it's fantastic. In Italy, that was a shit show. They were wearing the denim, though. They were wearing the summer uniform.
Yeah, they got a lot of the British uniforms and stuff too. Because all the Canadians would have been junk by then. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
there were I forgot what the unit was called in Italy. They landed at the Canadian unit that I think landed at Anzio, and I'm pretty sure they had a combination of like British and American. I think they had like American M1 helmets or something. And
it would have been whatever they could get supply wise. It would have been whatever the primary supply chain would have been. So that's not uncommon. Canadians tended to be, for a country with no people who can't donate a lot of soldiers, even though they donate a massive population percentage wise to these world wars they participated in, almost more than any other country that didn't lose. It's horrendous the amount of people, because even Canada today's got 36 million fucking people in it, and that's the largest it's ever been. We're still recovering from a lot of these fights that they've participated in 100 years ago, and they put up some pretty rough numbers, controlled a lot of space, and did a lot of stuff for not getting any recognition. So for being a tiny country and holding up an entire beach on Normandy and not getting recognized for it,
Yeah, so that'd be some cool shit long term. And It really would. But we're still young, so we have the time.
That's true. It's true. 30's the new 20, motherfucker.
30 is the new like 15, rather.
That makes me feel way too old.
Gives us 5 more years. Woo!
Oh, God. I'm not legal then.
I'm not either. I'm way young. I'm
You
the
said,
youngest of you, ain't I?
Yeah, you are.
Yeah,
Yeah,
what are you, 20?
we're 4 days apart.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
So that makes him better by 4 days, right?
Yeah, he's older than me.
Bam! That's why he gets the A, not the B.
Well, you get the D, so
That's
hey,
fine.
nobody's complaining there except me, because it's like, you know,
Well, I mean, sorry. Have you seen me? I'm gorgeous.
it's giving a fucking. Well, like when we get down to business, it's like giving a Tic Tac to a blue whale. There's really not much going on there. Like, it's not good.
Well, fair.
But it works, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, so we should wrap this shit up.
Yeah.
Rocking 2 hours of this shit. I'm gonna go grill some brats.
You gotta put some wieners in our mouth.
Well, that's always important. I'll send you Alexander's video so you can show it to Devonius.
Devonius.
I'm Devonius, so I love it.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll post the link one more time in the chat.
Reveille. Yeah, donate to this movie.
It's gonna be fucking awesome. You guys are all gonna love it. And here's the thing is, we're not just gonna be like having fun with this. It's like we're going to be making the best fucking content possible that we can.
Yes, it's serious shit, and I'm putting my blood, sweat, and tears into this whole thing, man.
Tears?
Blood, sweat, and tears.
We've got a fucking crier on our hands. Jesus Christ.
Well, I mean, he's like me and you. We're all millennials, so I mean.
Yeah, we gotta cry, man.
Yeah, that's our thing. Yeah.
I'm just gonna stuff it, and that's gonna end well.
That's gonna die at the age of 45.
Yep, that's gonna end well. So I'm just gonna.
Well, I
stuff
guess
it.
me and Mike A will be making videos because you won't live long. So.
Christ.
Oh God. Gotta have a nice cry every now and then, Mike. Come on now.
All right, thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll fucking see you later. Yeah, your little dude. Okay. Let's get this straight. You have to learn how to fucking tuck your fucking thumb in first.
Yep. No.
No.
Tuck the side of your hand.
Like that.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Then 45 degrees, and your upper arm has to be parallel to the ground. Perfect 90 to your body.
A little bit down. Angle your hand a little bit down. There you go. Wow, we're getting it.
Okay.
And then
down.
down.
Yep, like straight towards your belt buckle. So you take your hand and you go straight towards
that took a lot for Devin because they.
Well, I'm off screen too, so I got to leave.
Yeah, well, that took a lot for you because don't you guys do the kind of?
No.
Do you American salute?
Yeah, exactly. Just like the American stuff.
I thought you guys would have done the British one.
Yeah.
No, which theirs makes more sense because it's supposed to like show that you're disarmed and you could hide something if your hand's like that.
Well,
that
that's the whole point.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah,
well, like it was really cool. Like in theater, like saluting the British officers. I'd be like, evening sir, afternoon sir, and they'd be like that, and I'm like, that's fucking real. It just happened. Awesome.
That's real.
Woo! So
I'll do it correct from now on.
There you go.
But you gotta get your fucking wrists straight.
Yeah. Stop being flaccid. Get in there.
There we go.
There you go.
All right, guys. Thanks everyone for watching and donating. That's gonna be awesome. Make sure you check out the site. Dude, before you know it, it's going to be shot, and the more cash we have for production purposes, the more realistic it's going to be, and then we'll go into the future with that. So just throwing that out there. If you want to see war films be more realistic,
now's your chance. Take action. Seize the day. Carpe diem.
All right.
Good stuff.
Later, everyone.
Later, dude.